Hey everyone, welcome back to JarDev. I'm back here with Robby again today.
Hello, I'm back.
Robby's back, and in this video we're going to be going over Robby's top 5 video games of 2020.
Sorry, board games.
Robby's top 5 games of 2020.
No, board games. I have to specify because there are games that made me bored. My top 5 games that bored me to death of 2020.
Wow, what a solid list. Speaking of which, you'll see in the coming videos that other people have struggled to come up with a list this year. I know you've struggled a bit too.
Yes.
How's your list come together?
Poorly, but it's together. So.
Okay. God, it's going to be interesting to see who has the worst.
Like, this year has just been pretty crazy, and I've been finding lately I don't play that many brand new games.
Yeah.
Year to year. And there's some reasons for that. I think a big part of it is a lot of game companies are making games that have season pass type things, or are constantly releasing new content to keep you coming back to play the same old game over and over again.
Yeah.
And so those types of games, especially for someone like me, I mentioned it in the last video that I have FOMO, fear of missing out, a lot. So if I miss something from like a season and the game's set up in a way that I don't get to go back and do it, it kind of stresses me out a bit, and so I get sucked in, and then I find I don't have time to do as many of the things that I like to do.
Right, so you're mainly still playing a lot of the same old games you've been playing for the last 5 years.
Yes, I would say so.
Okay, so it's still like Rocket League and Destiny, basically.
That is what I spend a lot of my time playing.
Right. So everything on your list came out this year?
Yep.
Okay, sweet. Let's crack on into number 5 then.
All right, number 5 for me, it's a bit cheaty, but I'm going to say Among Us.
Ah, there it is.
Yeah. It was a good idea to use that, because I totally forgot. Technically, I guess it didn't really come out this year, though? Is that right?
So it came out 2 years ago, but I believe it was this year where they did the big online multiplayer update.
Yeah, so
basically, the version of Among Us that everybody knows came out this year, technically.
Yeah, okay. So before it was all just local Wi-Fi kind of stuff?
I guess so, yeah, I don't really know. It came out of nowhere for me as well.
Okay, well, call it what you want. A new game that I played this year, a new game that came out this year. That's my number 5, and it's number 5 because of all the games that are on this list. It's the one that I enjoyed, but I also got bored of the fastest.
Oh, were you bored of it already?
Yeah, so I've played it for a number of hours, and okay, maybe I need to give some background after too, but I played it for a number of hours with groups of 10 people, of my friends. I've never played it online with random people to see the shitstorm that is online play with people that you can not actually talk to and you have to type at. So I think I would not enjoy that at all. But playing with a group of friends, I enjoyed, which was surprising to me for a number of reasons. One, because I really, really, really don't like games like that.
Right.
Like the typical formula that Among Us uses is funnily enough, a board game most of the time. For games like Werewolf, Secret Hitler.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of games like that that are, you sit around a table and you basically point fingers at your friends and accuse each other and lie through your teeth about whether or not you're either a Nazi or a werewolf or whatever.
Yeah.
And I do not do well in those types of games because I typically have trouble not playing myself and being honest.
And so too.
In a game where you have to lie, it's really hard. And I found that in Among Us, I could do a way better job because I had fun murdering the shit out of my friends.
Oh God.
And I don't know, I feel like I was more empowered and I didn't have to make up as many excuses because I could easily pretend to be a regular good crewmate just by being present with other people and not killing them or whatever, or not having been nearby anyone or whatever. So, or sometimes you just stay silent. People will just talk and not even like mention you. So
especially when you're playing with people who drink a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, they can be loud and you can just sit there quietly and everybody forgets about you and you kill them.
My girlfriend doesn't like being the imposter at all because it stresses her the fuck out, but I
totally agree
honestly,
with her.
I kind of like it because I have fun, but I also like being a crewmate because I just get to do my own thing. So it's fun, but because it's like the formula is one that I really don't like typically, I do find that I don't really have a strong urge to play it. I've played it and I'd be happy to probably never play it again, but I would still have fun if I were to play it again. I just don't have the desire to go back to it, really, I guess.
That's fair. So that's why it's number 5.
Yeah. So of the games this year, that's number 5.
Okay.
All right. Number 4 is Destiny 2 Beyond Light, the new expansion for Destiny.
Ah.
Yeah, so I am still using expansions, and yes, it's Destiny, a game that I just keep playing year after year after year after year after year.
God, do you think this is like 5 in a row?
It could very well be, because I think that, something Destiny related has come out every single year, so yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
And it's on here just because I do enjoy playing Destiny still, but I do wish I could take a break and not feel like I was missing out. That is something that I really am not thrilled about.
You can.
Well, I'd have to get to a point where I feel like I'm not missing out.
So yeah, that's fair. Yeah. You can take a break, you just can't yet feel like you won't be missing out.
And I did take a break this year, actually. Like, between maybe December of last year and April of this year, I didn't actually play that much Destiny. And I did miss out on things that I wish I hadn't missed out on. So
that should have been the tipping point. You should have been like, oh, well, I missed out these things. It doesn't matter if I miss out on other things now.
Yeah, it's just like when it's like a cosmetic thing that you like better than any of the other stuff. It's like one of those things where it's like kicking yourself because, I just put in like a little bit of more effort in this particular time of the year and you would have been happier. So it's not like the end of the world, but it is something I'm just like, I wish I could do something different. I recently played, this one didn't make the list, but I guess it kind of could have, sort of. I don't remember what's come out and what hasn't, but the Halo Master Chief Collection on Steam.
Okay, I was expecting that to be on your list.
I've played a little bit of it, but not too much.
Okay.
I played a little bit of the Halo Reach online stuff on my PC with my cousin, and that was fun. And they have one of the coolest season pass things out of all of the games, because what they do is if you unlock a season pass for that season, like it's there for you, and then when the next season starts, that old season pass is still there for you.
Ooh.
So I don't know what you unlock after you hit max level, but basically when you level up, you get to choose which season pass you want to put your level up point into.
Oh, that's a really cool idea.
A tier reward. So yeah, that's like exactly what I want. Like if I go and hit level 70 in one Destiny season, but then the next one I hit 150, I could put 30 of those points in the other season and unlock the rest of the stuff. That would be amazing. That would be exactly what I want, because that just basically nullifies the FOMO, and you can just get whatever the heck you want, and it's not a big deal.
But unfortunately, it's Activision Blizzard, so they thrive on your FOMO.
So yeah, a little bit. But I'm hoping that Bungie has said that they're taking steps towards making it feel like people are missing out less. So we'll see what goes on in the next little bit here. I can't say there's anything in Beyond Light that really blew me away so far. Like, the story's decent, the premise is kind of cool. There's stuff I haven't really experienced yet because I still need to play through some of the story, but like they've added a new subclass, which they haven't done since Destiny first started. Well, okay. So originally when Destiny started, each class had 2 subclasses tied to elements. Titans had Arc and Void, and then later on they added the Solar subclass to it. That was way back in Destiny 1. And so Destiny 2, for the last however many years since it came out, I guess 2017 is when it came out. So in 2017, it had the same 3 subclasses that were at the end of Destiny 1, and they hadn't changed that formula at all, except like to do tweaks here and there to the subclasses since that time until now, when they added an Ice subclass.
Oh.
And so everyone got an Ice subclass, and they're fucking ridiculous, especially in PvP. Like,
Oh, they're just super OP.
And specifically like the warlocks and the titan subclasses.
Oh no.
I play a titan, so I'm okay with it, sort of.
Oh.
Like, for once, I finally feel like I can do crazy shit, and it's fun. But I still get wrecked sometimes. I'm like, what the fuck was that? But it's pretty cool. I feel like I've got a lot more mobility than I ever had before playing my subclass, and I really like that. So that's cool. I like that it's changed things up, and they brought some old stuff back from previous, like from the first game. So it's cool, but it's definitely not up there on my list right now, just because I do feel like I play it most of the time just to not miss out, instead of actually feeling like I want to go play it. Most of the time. Sometimes I do, but...
Okay. God, I would just hate that.
Number 3 is also an expansion.
Is it Final Fantasy?
No, it's not that.
Ooh.
It is actually the Pokemon Isle of Armor expansion for Sword and Shield.
Oh shit. I forgot about that.
So this year they came out with Isle of Armor and they came out with Crown Tundra. I've only played a little bit of Crown Tundra. Otherwise I probably would have looped them both into like the same, like bundled them both. But I've played all of Isle of Armor. Like I 100%ed it.
Okay.
So Pokemon Sword and Shield came out last year, and I completed the game. I've done pretty much everything. Like, you could say that maybe I didn't do like all the Dynamax, Gigantamax stuff or whatever, but I have a complete Pokedex. So that's pretty good, I would say.
Did you? Holy shit.
Yeah, I got all the Pokemon in my game.
Wow.
Even like Sword exclusive ones and everything. Like
Oh right, yeah, I remember trading.
Yeah. So I did quite well, and I really liked it. Like, I can't say I love the story of Sword and Shield, to be honest.
There was a
like
story?
I really did not. So there was stuff that happened, and it was just kind of.
There was a story that happened in spite of your character. Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty lame. But
Yeah.
the gameplay and a lot of the mechanics, aside from Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing, I think that's gimmicky as fuck.
Yeah.
I really like. I guess that they've done something different, but I wish they hadn't made it such a central focus, and they just made it a thing that you do on the side, and it's just there for you to go do. Like, oh, you want to go fight giant Pokemon as like a side thing? Sure. But it feels very central, and I don't love that.
And it'll also never be in a game again.
Yeah, probably not. I hope not.
Like Megas and Z moves and shit.
Of all of the things that came out before, I think I like Gigantamaxing and Dynamaxing the least. I'll take Z moves over those, and I'll take Mega Evolutions over both of them.
Yeah, same. I'd rather none, but that's just me. Yeah.
I think Mega Evolutions are really cool. Like, some of the Pokemon look really dope. And it gives me hope for some Pokemon, I guess. Like, I don't know. I hate Rhyperior as a Pokemon. Just in general, I hate it. I love Rhydon. Rhydon is so cool, but Rhyperior looks like a fucking trash can compared to Rhydon. Like, it's so dumb. Yeah, it is rude, but it's true. There's actually competitive people that opt for a Rhydon instead of a Rhyperior because they can give it a special item that increases its stats because it's not a fully evolved Pokemon.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah, interestingly enough, the things you learn when you're trying to justify having a Rhydon instead of a Rhyperior. I forgot where I was going with it.
You did the Pokédex?
So, yeah, I've done the Pokédex. I don't like Gigantamaxing, I guess, but
this is the base game
fine
right now.
Yeah, so it plays a bit of a role still in Isle of Armor and a little bit more in Crown Tundra. Like, I've just done the very first part, and Crown Tundra introduces this thing where you go through like a maze. It's called it's not a Pokemon den, but some sort of like cavernous tunnel network, and you basically it's a neat idea, except for the fact that it centers around Gigantamaxing or Dynamaxing. Basically, you go in and you get assigned a Pokemon, or you get to pick a Pokemon from the person, so you don't get to bring your own. And you go and you fight a Dynamax Pokemon in there, and then when you beat it, you catch it, and you can choose whether or not you swap out the Pokemon that they gave you for that new one.
Ooh.
And so you can do that, and then you progress, and you choose a new path, and everyone in your team votes for which path you're going to choose. And if it's just you with NPCs like I played, it's just whatever you pick. And then you go to the next part, and you fight a new Pokemon, and then when you get to the end, that's how you get access to some of the legendary Pokemon that they've brought out with the expansions.
Oh, right.
So the one I did, it got to Suicune.
Oh.
The unfortunate part was by the time I got to the end, my NPCs had died so many times that we had no lives left. And so one of them died while we were fighting Suicune, and we just got kicked out. So we got like one round of moves in on Suicune, and then an NPC died. Their Pokemon fainted, and we just got booted, and that was it.
Oh.
That was my run.
Shit.
But Isle of Armor was really cool because they gave you a new Pokemon that you had to train up and like use to battle through this tower and like get to the end, and you had like a big battle with your dojo master guy. And it was actually kind of a challenge. Like it's obviously not that hard to level up the Pokemon because by that point I've got so many XP candies that I can just feed into my dude that getting him to level 70 took all of 10 seconds.
Wow.
But it's, you know, at least there's a bit of a challenge. Like when you do his like the fight with him at the end, it's actually like strategic. Like he fucked me up like 2 or 3 times before I actually like I had to level my Pokemon up a little bit more, and then he still like he had an item that like, you know, made one attack like not do as much or whatever, and he basically just wore me down that way. And so that was kind of interesting. And you have like a choice between what version of the evolution you want to choose for your little buddy. I don't remember the names of either of them, it's been so long. But it was kind of fun. All right, that was number 3.
Okay.
Number 2, I almost said number 4 because I was counting up. Set it down. Number 2, I think, is actually Tinkertown.
Oh yeah.
And that was a game that we had not played until very recently.
Yeah, very recently at the time of recording.
Very recently, like a week apart from the time of recording, which is quite nice actually. And it's not even just the bottom of the list, which is pretty good, I would say, especially because Destiny's on there.
Yeah. It's your second game of the year.
Yeah, I would say so, honestly, because it's an early access game. And I think it's just because I felt so relaxed and I had such a good time playing it that it was just a really nice shift from all the other games that I'd played before on this list.
Yeah, it was a nice like casual time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was casual. There was still like a bit of, you know, like it wasn't a repeated formula, like it was obviously, but it wasn't so repeated that I like didn't have to think about what I was doing. Like I actually had to like go and explore some stuff and like try and learn new things and figure out how the game worked, and I just had a really enjoyable time. A really cool little survival game where we get to, you know, figure out how to craft things to make ourselves better, how to make a house, what to go and do in the world, and what does what. And it was great. It was basically Don't Starve meets Minecraft, and I had a blast doing it. And honestly, like I would play it and kind of like end game it even more than we did when we finished our 3-hour long play session last time.
Yeah, that's a pretty good sign that we just did like 3 hours solidly.
Yeah, like a lot of other games I play 3 hours and I'm like, ugh. You know, and, like I want to switch to something else. But like Tinkertown, I was like, you know, I could keep farming shit in the desert to unlock more cool armor and stuff, and I'd be okay with that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'd have a good time. I could build my house up or look for different mats or whatever. But I think if we played much more, I probably would have gotten bored with it just because there isn't that much content to it at the moment. But in the future, I think it could be really cool.
Yeah, I think post early access, hopefully, it has like a bit more of like a longer from start to end game cycle.
Yeah.
And a bit more stuff to do end game would be nice, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was very fun.
It was very fun. I had a really good time playing Tinkertown. I definitely recommend it to anyone who likes survival games. If you like Don't Starve, if you like Minecraft, if you like both. It's a cool, pixely, cute little game.
Yeah. Nice. Solid number 2 pick there. Do you have any honorable mentions before we do your number 1?
I mean, I guess I already mentioned Halo, mentioned Crown Tundra a little bit. So, like, not really, I don't think.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I know your game of the year.
Do you?
I do. Should I say what it is?
It's Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
I ruined it.
I knew it.
Yep, that is my number 1 game of the year, hands down.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes. Honestly, you could call it that. I would still agree with you.
Well, I could see that one coming.
I bet. I loved it. I loved the crap out of it. I 100%ed that game. I spent so many hours. I can't even tell you how many hours because the PlayStation doesn't track it. But if I had a PS5, I could tell you.
You could actually, yeah.
I loved it. Like I played the crap out of it. I was so upset at one point during the story that I wanted to stop playing because I was just like so like devastated emotionally. I felt crushed.
Damn.
And I was like, wow, I cannot believe I feel this way about a video game. This is like the first time ever that I have actually been this moved by, like, I've been upset when things happen, obviously. Like, oh, come on, why'd you do that? Like, oh, I don't like that. But this one I like actually felt defeated inside. I was like, fuck.
Wow, I had no idea the story was that good.
I really liked the story.
Huh.
I think I've seen other reviews online say that they didn't like the story that much or whatever, but like I really liked it. And the way I did it is I kind of 100%ed each area as I went. So everything, like the whole story flowed really, really well for me. I did all the side quests as I went, and so everything like lined up perfectly. And even in some instances where I stumbled upon like there are different duels that you can do in the game where it's like a one-on-one fight in an arena, and it's a very different kind of combat to regular combat because you don't have access to like ghost skills like your throwing kunai or your smoke bomb and stuff. I stumbled upon like a special duel at one point, and later on I ran into the guy who tells you about these duels that are around, and there was actually dialogue letting me know, or like telling the person that I'd already encountered one of these people.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
Even though I wasn't really supposed to have encountered it. So little things like that, I was like, this is really, really cool.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
I love
awesome.
when games do that.
Yeah, so I really appreciated that. It's I like the combat a lot. Like I like you get different sword stances and you can use them to fight different enemies, and then you unlock different ghost abilities, and like just really cool kind of RPG elements because you get to choose which upgrades you want for each of the like different like stances or abilities or whatnot. And it's just, it felt really fun. Like it honestly felt like what I wanted a lot of past Assassin's Creed games to be.
Oh, okay.
And because there's like stealth sides and just straight up like full frontal assault combat sides to it, and you can choose basically in any situation for the most part, except ones that are like story locked or whatever. You can basically choose how you want to engage any enemy in the game, if you want to be like super sneaky about it, or if you want to just like go up and like do a Japanese samurai standoff and just like you fuck them all up in one go. Huh. And one thing that they released later on, I started a little bit late. I hunted after it came out for a collector's edition because I like heard about the game, but I didn't look into it. And then it like came out, and I was like, "Holy crap! This game looks like something I really want to play, and I really want the collector's edition." So I hunted and I refreshed Best Buy's website like 30 times a day, and I eventually like found like a 20-minute window when they came back into stock, and I managed to pick one up. So that was cool.
Oh right, I forgot you got it.
Yeah, I did. I was really happy about it.
Nice.
And then I was a little bit late, and when they brought out an update, they brought out a lethal mode, which was a really cool idea for a difficulty slider in a game where it's not just, oh hey, like everything hits you harder and you hit everything like less hard.
Right.
Like you take more damage and deal less damage, and it's just a harder time or whatever.
Yeah, that's normal difficulty scales, I guess.
Yeah, and like a lot of games do that, like God of War does that. Ghost of Tsushima did it differently, wherein you will get one-hit KO'd sometimes playing on lethal, but you also do way more damage to enemies.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So it's like the name implies, all the damage is lethal.
Okay, that's a cool way of doing it.
Yeah, you get punished for like mistakes and not playing well, but you get rewarded when you do play well. Like if you're dodging and parrying strikes well, you'll kill enemies really fast. But if you fuck up, you know, you'll get wrecked. And I really like that. That's something that I really, really enjoyed. I played the first third of the game on like a medium difficulty, and then a friend of mine was like, "Oh yeah, we're playing on lethal," and I was like, "Well, maybe I'll give it a shot." And it was a bit of a learning curve, but I loved it.
That's awesome. I love that they give you the choice as well.
Yeah, and you can change anytime.
Oh, that's great. It sounds like my kind of game, honestly.
Ghost of Tsushima is fantastic. I wish that I could play it on PS5, but I don't have a PS5. I have a new TV that I could play it on. I personally love the graphics. A friend of mine said he's not that like thrilled with the graphics, but I love it. I thought it was beautiful. It's like the loading times are almost non-existent in the game, which to me is fascinating because Destiny has some of the longest loading times on PlayStation, I bet.
Yeah, and it's not like the PS4 is actually like a very strong machine.
Yeah, it's all right, but like one of the big things about Destiny is that like I go to get ready to play Destiny with friends, and I have to go like 10 minutes early to get into the game.
Jesus.
But Ghost of Tsushima somehow has managed to look incredible, in my opinion, and have almost no loading times. In some places, they apparently increased the loading time so that you could read the hints.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So fast. It's so fast. But, like, in the game, you can go and collect a whole bunch of things. Like, there's tons of stuff in the world, and one thing that I really liked about the collectibles is I didn't need to use a guide once for any of the collectibles.
Oh.
There were a couple of achievements that I needed to like use a guide to figure out because it's kind of like a secret achievement or whatever, trophy, right. I guess. But for all the collectibles, you didn't need anything. Some of them are cosmetics, others are just kind of like info stuff. But there's a system in the game that lets you find all of the collectibles really easily, and that system is the guiding wind mechanic, which is a replacement for your mini-map and your compass.
Oh.
So the game doesn't have a mini-map, it doesn't have a compass, and I didn't care because I love the system so much. Basically, in your menu, you assign like what you want your guiding wind to be. You assign a target, and then on the PS4 controller, you swipe up on the touchpad, and the wind will blow in the direction you need to go.
Holy crap, that's so cool.
It's amazing. And so like if you're in like the snowy northern part, snow will blow that way, and it's a bit harder to see because it's white everywhere. But if you're like in a field with flowers or whatever, you see like petals or like other stuff like fluffs fly through the air in the direction that you need to go. And you can set that to be different things. You can unlock different things that you want the guiding wind to lead to. Like if you want to go find new hot springs, if you want to find new vanity items like cosmetic things for your character, if you want to find all sorts of stuff, you just set it to that, and you can open up your map and it'll show you the direction that the wind's blowing. And I think it's got a system where the length of like the dots that it shows on the map is sort of indicative of how close you are to it. But if you're not inside your map, you basically just follow the wind to where you want to go.
What the fuck, that's so unique.
Yeah,
I love
it was
that.
Incredible. Honestly, the first time in a long time I actually felt like picking up a game from the start right after I'd finished it, just because I wanted more of the game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've had that. Fuck,
There
I want to play
aren't
this
many
game.
games. There aren't many games that I've actually felt like that about.
Huh. But yeah, you like went right on to New Game Plus.
Yeah, I didn't get very far at the time. I think something else came up and I fell off of it.
Mhm.
But if you ask me if I would go back to that, I'd say hell yes.
Absolutely.
I will go back to Ghost of Tsushima. I will play it again. I will have a blast. And I would maybe even play it a third time because I like the story, I like the game, and I cannot wait for a sequel. I hope they make it.
Damn. Okay, well that makes sense as your game of the year.
Yes. Compared to everything else, that game is like actually deserving of being on this list.
Yeah.
I fucking love it, and everyone should go play it. Everything else, eh.
But Ghost of Tsushima is actually one that would show up on other people's lists.
Yeah, that's true too.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your list, Robby.
Yeah, it was unconventional and not as exciting as previous years, but Ghost of Tsushima kicks ass. Everyone should play it.
Kind of makes up for it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you everybody very much for watching. Stay tuned for a couple more of these top 5 videos coming in the next couple of days. And we'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye!